Welcome to this week's episode of the Baseball Together podcast. We're going to talk about lockout updates, baseball in other places, and pitchers we love under 25 right now. 9+ Us presents the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Kansas City Little Big Briggy Blue Eyes. And now, Baseball Together. Welcome back, baseball family, to another episode of the Baseball Together podcast. My name is Brig. I still got a rally cap on, and so does Brad. He's over here, that way. And he's got his rally cap on. Welcome, Brad.
Thanks, Brig. Thanks. I got my Stingray going on again still this week. Unfortunately, I was really hoping not to have to, but here we are, nonetheless.
Here we are. And here we go. We have got to talk about this lockout business, and we'll get into some of the rather notable labels for that in a minute. But first, MLB Players Association submitted another proposal, counter proposal, I guess. Feels like we're starting from zero, but some people don't think that's the case.
It really does. It does. After everything last week, we talked on Tuesday, Monday, whatever day it was we recorded last week, where we're like, it's like really close, right? And we felt like we were going to have like an update. We're going to re-record the episode at the end of the day. Yeah. But then it all fell apart, and then everything just hit the fan. And then I read an article that said that it never was that close.
Never at all. And it was actually more of a propaganda machine thing from the owners group and the league itself to make it seem like they were closer to a deal than they were, when the players themselves, the players' reps and their representatives said that, no, that's a bunch of hullabaloo. It was never close.
Yeah, bunch of hogwash.
Whoa, rut-row. So the Players Association says that the 45-day notice to change any rules, which I think is pretty reasonable.
So this is one of the things they put in there was the 45-day notice, because currently it's a year, which I think makes the most sense, right?
Yeah, personally. Or if not one whole year, then certainly before the beginning of the next regular season.
Right, yeah. So they're like, you know what, we'll go down to 45 days when the owners only asked for 4 months.
Yep.
Pretty generous, I feel like.
It is super generous. And again, I think it's egregious. Why would you start something mid-season? There should be a caveat in there that says we can rule change anytime we want between the seasons. Mm-hmm. But there is no rule changing mid-season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, where's that?
As long as there are games going on, you can't change a rule. Like, as long as there are regular season games going on, you can't change a rule. Because I could see them even in spring training being like, we need to adjust this a little bit. Just tweak it and it being fine. But as long as there are regular season games going, you can't change a rule. So that's really generous, I feel like, of the players to be like, we'll do 45 days, but cap it at 3 rules a year.
Yeah, it needs to be capped at 3 rules a year, which is what they're saying in their proposal. The pitch clock will be 14 seconds if there are no runners on, 19 seconds with runners on. That doesn't bother me. Does that bother you at all?
No, and you know what? I thought it would, but I've seen it a couple times, like at minor league games, college. I think they had it in college games or something. I don't remember. But I've seen it a couple times, and I didn't even notice it, honestly.
Yep, exactly. So it doesn't bother me. What do I care? And they can squabble over 10 seconds or 20 seconds, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Yeah. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to look back and like the mound visit thing where some people were irate over it. Mm-hmm. I'm pointing at myself here.
Me too.
We're going to find out that it's not a big deal. Like, it doesn't even happen.
Yeah.
It isn't even noticeable. The other thing that has been determined is that they're going to make the bags bigger. At least it's one of being batted around, that they're going to make the bases larger, which for Jose Altuve is a wonderful thing.
It is. And it's funny. We talked about this a couple of years ago. Do you remember? I mean, it was a while ago that we talked about this item in particular, that it's going to be a little bit of an extra incentive for guys to get moving. And I think it's good. I like it because it's not enormous. You won't be able to tell from the stands.
Nah.
But the players will notice the difference, I feel like.
Right.
And that'll be enough. So
I agree.
Think that'll be a good one.
I'm not, like I said, the purist in me is a little upset But I'll bet the practical side of me is going to just not even notice again. I don't think I'll ever love or hate it.
You know what though? Like you talk about the purist, I think that the bags have changed more over the years than we realize.
You're probably right. Actually, we should do some research on that.
We should look into that and have an answer for that later.
Yeah, really good idea.
But they also said that they're willing to negotiate stricter penalties for teams that go over the competitive balance tax threshold.
Yeah,
things like losing out on draft picks, things like that, which is really interesting because the players want teams to go over because it's technically, like I said, quote unquote, not a salary cap, but in reality, let's be real, it is.
Let's not be real, Brad. Nobody wants to be real right now. Can you tell?
We're going to be real, Brig, but
we can be real. We don't want to be real.
I'm real, but but the players have complained in the last couple of years about teams not wanting to go over the tax, right? But now the players are willing to be like, okay, you can have harsher punishments if that's what you want. And some of them, being that they proposed were losing a draft pick, which is pretty significant. I feel like that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, especially if you're Pittsburgh. It's where you make all your money.
Exactly right. Exactly.
Okay, let's move on. They are still open to the 14-team playoff situation, but they want that in exchange for cash and a player to be named later.
And a bucket of balls. Don't forget that.
What's that?
Oh, and a bucket of balls as well.
Oh, yeah, of course. I have a bucket of balls as long as it's been kept in the humidifier all season long. So we don't know how the postseason is going to play out, how they're going to establish it or whatever. But again, that could be one of the things that is changed mid-season if there's if the 45-day rule change order is in place that they could say on a whim, like, hey, we don't think, we're in August, beginning of August, and we can see how the brackets are starting to line up. Let's go ahead and make it a 14 instead of a 12 team playoff situation this year. And it's like, what? Why would you can't? No.
That would be insane.
There's like suddenly we're going to add 2 new teams.
Well, it's like if the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Dodgers are on the outside looking in, like, are they going to make the change?
Yes, because they're large market teams and it'll bring revenue. That's exactly why they would do it, Brad. They won't do it if Pittsburgh is like, maybe an additional wild card team. They wouldn't do that.
Huh.
It's nuts.
That feels really wonky to me. I wonder if it is an off-season thing because currently, like we said, with the year thing, they've banned the shift. Officially, they've banned the shift.
The shift,
but it doesn't take,
as far as we're aware.
Right, but it's not going to take effect until 2023.
Right.
So that's a whole year from now.
Right.
And so, and I feel like, honestly, I feel like it's one of those things where the owners came in and they said, we're willing to ban the shift. And Joey Gallo was in the room. Perfect. That's all we need. Let's go. Like, well, Joey, we've only been in here for like 15 minutes. It's like, I know that's all we need today. Let's call it a day. Let's go while we're ahead. This is fine. Yeah. While we agree on something.
Yeah, exactly.
But
we had more and we brought croissants. Like, I don't care. Those are the reliable things that come out of the Major League Baseball's spokesperson's mouth. Rob Manfred, he says we brought snacks. Maybe I wonder does he cut up the oranges and bring them in the baggie to the negotiations? I don't know. It's getting warmer, so we gotta get that vitamin C anyway. So, oh man, I'm so angry. Okay, but yeah. So what if I gotta go back to the 45-day thing? Let's just say that we're getting this right. Let's just say that that's what they're actually proposing. And let's just say that in June or July, they're like, you know what, you can shift. Actually. And then before the playoffs, they're like, you know what? It's been 45 days. We're just don't shift anymore for the playoffs. Oh, even Joe Madden couldn't keep up with that.
Literally changing the rules in the middle of the game, Brig.
Yeah, right? How is this a good idea? Every 4-year-old learns that it's bad. Every one of them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move
Yeah,
on.
that's scary. Okay, so
The-
the next thing that we talked about this the other day is proposing an international draft, because currently, as it goes, international players can sign with a team at any point as long as they have the money to pay them. Everybody has a certain amount of international money that they can work with, and and they can trade. Like I remember a couple of years ago around the trade deadline, every trade that Jerry DiPoto made was for international slot money. It was before Ohtani came into the league. He was like, okay, we want to pay him as much as we can. So that's the way it goes now. But the international draft would level the playing field, right? Because like Ohtani wanted to go to Seattle, the Angels, and then I think there's one more West Coast team, maybe the Giants.
I don't remember.
But I know he wanted to stick to the West Coast.
Yeah, for sure.
And so what this would do is like Ohtani could be a freaking Pirate.
For sure.
Right?
I know we're picking on Pittsburgh today, but yeah.
But yeah, or he could have already
Cincinnati.
been traded. He could have been traded already to the Dodgers or the Yankees. Like he could be somewhere else completely different if there was a draft.
Yes.
So it makes sense. I understand it, but at the same time, I don't know, man.
So one of the stipulations on this was that they would give a more broad dispersion of funds to these players, that they would not only increase the amount of money that was going to the players drafted by a couple $100,000 each across the board, right? But that it would also give more and more kids opportunities to sign, and there would be an age limit. So right now they're doing handshake deals down in South America at like
in the Caribbean.
At like 12 and 15 years old. So between 12 and 15 years old. And it's crazy. And these kids are not shopping around and looking at other markets and other teams, and they're not being competitive in their negotiations and their searches because they have a team already at the big leagues that's like, bro, we want you. And that kid sells his soul a little bit. Yeah. Who wouldn't? I would.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. If I was 15 and somebody came up to me and was like, hey, we've got our eye on you, I would have done I'd have dropped everything to play baseball.
So the idea is that it would level the competitive balance. It would put a little more money into a little more kids' hands and families down there or wherever they are. I say down there like it's Australia, but down under, which it would include Australia, by the way.
It would,
yeah. There's all
Australia,
kinds of
Japan,
things.
Everywhere.
Yeah, Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anywhere they play baseball, I guess.
But on the other hand, didn't that article we read, didn't it say something about how there would still be like the top tier guys would be able to sign as free agents? They wouldn't have to go into the draft?
They wouldn't. That's what I was saying. They wouldn't have to go into the draft. The kids can say no. And that's the point that I made to you when we were talking was, okay, so all you got to do, Scotty B and his team, they just decide like to schmooze the kid and his family into saying, nah, like just don't enter the draft and you'll be all right. And they do a slick deal with the trainers at the commission, the athletic commission down there, or whatever. And now we're back to the same situation we have now.
Exactly, and probably even worse because you got agents approaching him. I'd rather have a team approach him than an agent, honestly.
I'm saying it's bad
because
it's not all. I should say it's not all good. Yeah. I like the direction they're headed. I don't think they have a polished solution.
Right, exactly, and I do think that if you're gonna have the draft, it has to be the way in. Right?
Yes.
Like that has to be the way in if that's the way you're gonna do it.
So in any process, when you want to optimize a process, you compartmentalize it into bite-sized chunks so that you can understand where the single point of failure is in the event that something fails. Duh. So you limit it to a single point so that if it fails, you know where it failed.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So
yeah, that's perfect. You're spot on.
Anyway. All right. So the Yankees president, Randy Levine, says that the CBA negotiations are, quote, embarrassing. And I think that's true.
They are embarrassing. I would be embarrassed if I was an owner, if I was an executive, if I was a player. Bo Bichette says owners and players should apologize to fans. I think he's spot on.
100%.
And the most truthful we've heard anybody be to date regarding this thing. Like Mike Trout's thing was all over the place about like I want to play baseball. I want to get this thing done, but we've got to get it right. It's like fans don't really care, honestly.
Nope.
Whether you get it right. All fans care about is the product on the field. It was almost like, yes, I get it. But on the other hand, I got to worry about me.
Yeah. And
like
I'm going to couch it in taking care of the guys in the future. And I feel like it was the party line that guys back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, when this was all really happening a lot. In the documentary Fastball, Goose Gossage is quoted as talking about this kind of stuff, and he says that's his line. Is he says we did it to make sure the players that came after us got taken care of, and that made sense back in those negotiations. But I'm not buying that candy bar this time, dude. Sorry.
You know what though, like, because the NFL a few years ago when they had their lockout, I wasn't buying it at all. Especially with the guys they had talking to the camera, like Drew Brees was like, we've got to have health insurance. It's like, I don't care. You make $40 million a year. You don't necessarily need health insurance. So I couldn't relate to that, but I can kind of see where they're coming from. Like this is the one time that I've actually followed a lockout where I'm kind of like, yeah, I can see why they're fighting for the guys who don't make money and the guys in the future, because they're pushing so hard for that pre-arb pool. Like that's they are stuck in the mud with that pre-arb pool, and that is the one thing that they're like, no, we will not back off this issue.
That and minor league players' pay and housing and all the stuff that's come, leading up to this. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. And I think that bullet point does justice to his argument. So yeah, you're right.
It does. And I think if he had specifically mentioned, I don't know, like the middle and low class of Major League Baseball, rather than saying we've got to get it right. Like that was I don't know. He could have worded it a little bit differently, but I kind of see where he's coming from. But at the same time, I'm kind of over it, honestly.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm sick of this. And I'm with Jeff Passan. My main man, Jeff Passan. Oh, baseball family, for those of you who've been around a while, you'll get that joke. And I mean a while.
That was early.
Yeah. Jeff Passan called it a poop sandwich, is what he called it. And then ESPN made him apologize for it. And we support you, Jeff Passan. We do.
Collectively, we do support Jeff Passan 100% on this, because that owner's proposal that was submitted, that was supposedly, quote unquote, their best deal, was a poop sandwich. Absolutely 100%.
It was awful.
Well, it came out there were 4 owners who opposed it. It was the Angels, Reds, D-backs, and Tigers.
I think so.
Those 4 owners opposed it, and I was like, yeah, because they knew it was trash. It's like, no, because they didn't want the competitive balance tax to go up. That's why they opposed it.
That's right.
That's even worse.
Yeah, it was because it wasn't good enough for them. Still,
it
wasn't because they knew it was unjust.
It's that they didn't want to pay any more money, because Artie Moreno's got all his money tied up in Mike Trout right now, and doesn't want to have to give a whole boatload of money to Ohtani in 2 years. That was the issue right there.
Wait as long as possible. Yep.
So
some of these players that we're hearing from are conducting their own spring training. They have already arrived in the Mesa, Arizona township. What do we call it? A city? I don't know.
I think it's a city.
Yeah, I think so. And they're at Bell Bank Park in Mesa. They probably don't want us telling you this, actually, but they're at Bell Bank Park in Mesa, which, according to their website, is a 320-acre world-class family sports and entertainment park located in Mesa, Arizona.
I.e., a rec facility.
It's a rec facility. No, it's a high-end one. It's probably for profit.
It's very nice.
It's nice. But yes,
it's really nice.
We've seen reports of players kind of just working out wherever they can, however they can, whenever they can, with whomever they can. And I
Well, you
think
think
that's the
about
right
it.
answer.
They did the same thing before the COVID season started in 2020. I mean, Trevor Bauer was making content where he and his buddies, they were like, he built a mound, a portable mound, and they would take it to parks and they would do live at bats and they'd record them. They would do it at baseball fields at parks that ended up eventually closing here in Phoenix. And they went out, I think it was Camelback Ranch, or not Camelback Ranch, they went by Camelback Mountain by the trails there. They're doing it live at bats out in the desert. So I'm sure that we're going to see more of that stuff with these guys right now because nothing's locked down, only them. So they can go all over the place and do stuff.
And just like any employer, when it's time to start work, they're going to ask you to start work. And they're not going to worry about too much about your preparation. They're going to worry a little bit. But what we've seen from the CBA negotiations is that they don't care about your kids. They don't.
You're right. They don't care about their kids, not one bit.
They don't.
You are absolutely right.
Get your butt to work right now, and I don't care.
They don't care about your kids. They don't care about their kids. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you're probably right. Especially that spokesman. What's his name?
Rob Man Clown. Is that what they're calling him?
That's what Man Clown. Thank you.
Yes.
In case you didn't notice, baseball family, we are now officially referring to him as MLB spokesman. We have demoted him. He has also, speaking of Man Clown, he has been issued a lifetime ban from minor league facility. The Grizzly Growlers or something like that.
Yeah,
this is not on our lineup.
No, they issued a lifetime ban, and it was after Fresno, I think, issued a ban for the season. A ban until the MLB season started.
Yeah,
and the Growlers were like, "We'll take you one step further." Lifetime ban, and I fully endorse that.
Me too. And if you read all the way to the end of their presser, their press announcement, it says for crimes against baseball. And I was like, "Yep, that is exactly what it was." So we stand with you, Growlers. We are right there. They're
the Kalamazoo Growlers.
Kalamazoo, that's where it is. I knew it was the Growlers, but yeah, Kalamazoo. We're right there with you. We support you. 100%. Brad, let's talk for a minute about Freddie Freeman. The Tampa Bay Rays made an offer to him. Was that lockout, rather, or was that
everything that comes out? It's like, oh, of course, this was pre-lockout. This, just so everybody knows, this was pre-lockout.
Yeah.
So whether it really was, I don't know. But apparently they're saying it was. And Denise brought up a good point in our chat today because I shared this with the group. Thought it was interesting. She said, I could make an offer to Freddie Freeman. It doesn't have to be a good one. Could say, we'll give you $1 to come play for our team. Yeah, that is an offer. He can decline it. And then it gets out there. Whoa, the Rays, the agent can say the Rays are making a run at Freddie Freeman.
That's right.
So
that's exactly right.
The Rays, who don't pay anybody, I highly doubt, gave Freddie Freeman a competitive offer.
No way. Neither did Atlanta, though. Oh, okay.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, he's not going to be brave. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot at this point. Brad, where else are you watching baseball right now and/or preparing to?
Well, preparing to watch the KBO. Honestly.
Right?
Are we gonna get more KBO baseball this year? Or are we gonna have to pirate it off the internet somewhere?
I don't know, but I got it. I got my Yagyu hat on today.
You do have your Yagyu hat on. I love it. It's fantastic.
I get compliments on this hat every time I wear it. They're like, "What's that?"
Nice.
I'm like, "All right, let me tell you." Weird. Did we just become best friends?
But I'll tell you this though, Brig. I'm certainly going to be following the Dinos this year. Like absolutely 100% be following. Whether I'm watching or not, I will be following the NZ Dinos this season because they're my other team. So I'll be right there.
Brad got a taste of winning, and he liked it.
And it felt real good.
Yeah, the KBO baseball family starts April 2nd. It's the same week that the minor league games are going to start here in America. So we're excited about that. I guess they play minor league baseball in Canada as well. Pretty cool stuff.
Yes. Yeah, you're
right. College baseball is up and running. I mean, like, they might trip every once in a while in their runs, but they're running. I'm just kidding.
You know what, really though, Brig, I watched some college baseball this weekend, And I was reminded as to why I do not.
Right.
They really struggle to get out sometimes. And I feel like those managers will leave those pitchers in for too long, especially in these early season games where they're not conference games. They don't really matter towards their conference tournament, So it's like this kid's struggling to find the strike zone, and you'll go ball 16, and then finally he'll go talk to him like, okay, here comes. Nope, they're gonna stick with him. He just walked everybody around the bases, and they're gonna stick with him. So here we go. And then he goes and he walks 2-3 more guys. The game's out of hand. And then the manager pulls him. And it's like, okay, first off, this is why you're coaching college. Right? And second, this is why people don't watch you very often.
It is hard.
It's hard. It's a tough watch.
It is hard. And I think unless you're watching a D1, and I know I'm going to get some flack for this, but unless you're watching a D1 ultra competitive club that really wants to win above all else,
here's the thing,
still
Brig.
going to get what?
This weekend, I watched Ole Miss.
Did you?
I did. First off, I watched them lose to either a low-level D1 team or a high-level D2 team. I cannot remember. I know that they were not on the same plane. I watched them lose that game in 13 innings. Okay? And Ole Miss is like the best. They're like top tier college baseball, right?
Really, yeah. They're
and
really
I was following an LSU game the weekend before, and they got handed to them. They lost like 13-1 by another low level D1 team. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of like the any given Saturday thing with college football, whatever, any given Sunday thing with football. But at the same time, like, these are teams that shouldn't be losing to these kids, and they are. And it's really painful because it's like they lose themselves. They don't lose the other team. And it's hard to watch, honestly.
All I know is that your Clemson Tigers, I only say that because I'm up the street, are 11-0.
Well, Ole Miss was 9-0 when I watched that game.
Stop
the Tigers. I'm gonna call it right now, Brig. Brig, I'm calling it right now. The Tigers are gonna lose this weekend.
Wow.
I may or may not put some money on that game. Just on one of those games in that series. I know it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I know it.
They're playing Michigan State.
Yeah, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose one of those games
at a neutral site. Actually, they're playing here at the Drive facility. That's what they mean by neutral. What you want to bet?
Probably, yeah, that'd be a neutral site.
Mm-hmm.
You should go.
I could go.
You should go, Brig. There you go. Go catch some baseball.
Brad, I should go. Yeah, GreenvilleDrive.com. There it is right there.
Do it. Go do it. But before we go take a break, baseball family, we want to remind you about the newest and easiest way for you to support the podcast. You can join us on Patreon. We're calling our patrons our rooters because you're rooting for us to succeed, and we root together for the home team. Right, Brig? That's right.
Right.
Tiers, we have 3 tiers available for you that each offer different things: hats, t-shirts, and behind-the-scenes access to the podcast and more. Starting at $5, that is the cost of one of Brig's bougie cups of coffee a month.
Yep.
And baseball family, with that, we will take a break and we'll come back with our under 25 pitchers we love.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back with me. Root, root, root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Shop kids' baseball shirts at 9pluss.com.
Welcome back, baseball family. We are going to get into our next part here where we're going to talk about more players we love, right? 25 under players we love.
Just say it, Brad.
We've done infielders. We've done outfielders. I tried to do outfielders again today when I was texting Brig, but he kept me in line. He let me know we've already done outfielders, you big dummy. So we're going to go and we're going to do pitchers now because that's all we have left. I don't know. Maybe we'll do bullpen catchers next week or something. I don't know. But trainers, possibly. I'm not sure. Trainers, we love. Umpires. Yes, there we go. Deep cuts with umpires. So this week we're going to talk about pitchers we love. Brig, go ahead and get us started with your first under 25 pitcher who you love and want to have a friendly long-term relationship with.
Thank you. Why is it so hard for you to say that?
I don't know.
You're so funny about that. Okay. All right. This guy is super young. He's obviously he turns 25 this next season. Okay, baseball family, I have to get something off my chest. It's got to come off my chest. Pitchers are old. Okay,
pitchers are old, and it's hard. It was hard. Like
yes,
and I was honestly surprised because I feel like there are times where you hear about this kid. He's a phenom. He's a phenom. He's coming up right in the minor leagues, but then he stays down. He stays down. He stays down. And then finally at like 23, 24, they bring him up, which really surprises me because every team is operating under the assumption that there are only so many bullets in the gun. Yet
why wait?
They're using.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, they're using them all in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
And they wonder why these guys need Tommy John when they get to the big leagues. Come on now.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now we've got that out of the way. Okay. My first guy already has a positive WAR. He's only pitched one season. It was 16 games is what it was. He has a positive WAR, 1.5 overall. 3.43 ERA. He's a lefty, actually, and he pitches in Tampa. His name is Shane McClanahan.
Oh, yeah, dude. He's good.
He's
How did I miss him? How did I miss him? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he's really good. He's, let me see, pull up a couple things about him here. Rookie of the year, number 7 that year. Where did those stats go, Brad? What did you do with the stats? There we go.
I took them and I hit them.
He was drafted by the New York Mets originally, 26th round, which is super interesting. That was in the 2015 MLB Junior Amateur Draft. He's from Cape Coral, Florida, and now he plays for the Tampa Bay Rays because he was picked first round his second time in the draft in the 2018 amateur draft. Excuse me. And he was 31st overall. University of South Florida out of Tampa. So
yeah,
that's all I can tell you about him.
I specifically remember him pitching against the Mariners this last year. And it's funny because the Mariners swept the Rays in the regular season. They played like 8 or 9 games, I think, against each other. The Mariners swept them. But I specifically remember watching McClanahan pitch and be like, dude, this guy is good. He's like really, really good.
He's really good. Yep,
yeah.
I totally agree. I like him, and he's my number one, or he's the first guy on my list, rather, not my number one guy, but first guy on my list. What about you? Who's your first guy?
Very good. My first guy, I'm going to go with somebody who actually ended up missing the entire 2021 season. But he's been around for some time, and he's really had a chance to prove himself. He's got a career ERA of 2.86, a career WAR already of 5.8, made his debut in the 2018 season at age 20. This is Braves pitcher Mike Soroka.
Ooh, I almost picked him.
Now, yes, he does have a twice torn Achilles tendon.
That's why I didn't pick him.
Tore in a game, tore it again during rehab. But I'm not going to hold that against him because he is. I feel like he's talented enough, and also young enough, right? That he's going to heal. I'm confident that he's going to heal because he's young enough. But also, I feel like he's talented enough that he'll be able to make any necessary changes that he needs to still be a dominant pitcher. And also, the other thing too is that the longer this lockout goes, the longer he has to build up the strength in that right foot, that right leg, right? That he's not going to be going out there 2-3 months off rehab and be like, oh man, like that Achilles, I don't know if it's going to hold up.
Yeah.
That he'll be more confident in that Achilles because it's his push off. It's his right foot. He's right-handed, so it's his push off foot. So he's going to have more of a chance to be confident in the strength of that leg. But I'm still all in on Soroka. I liked him before he got hurt, and I am 100% in on this dude because he's a stud.
No, I agree with you, and I think that if it was the foot he landed on, I would have way more issue.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
So it's the only reason I would have zero inclination to be confident, but it's not the case. And that's pretty cool. So Good choice. Yeah. He was on my honorable mention list. Way to go.
Very good. Excellent.
All right, I'm going to go with a guy for my next one who has played 3 seasons in the big leagues. He's a pitcher, actually.
Sure enough. He fits the criteria.
selected in the 4th round 2014 MLB amateur draft by the team he plays for, which you don't often see. And even, well, you do when they're this young. Sorry. But he will be 25 in 2022. His career WAR right now is 3.5. He had a 3.9 WAR in 2021. His ERA in 2021. Okay, ready? For ERA is my favorite. He in 2019 had a 5.22 ERA. Then he went to a 5.47 ERA in the next year, 2020. And then last season it dropped to 3.03. And he played significantly more games. So there were 2 wins, 3 losses for a total of 5 appearances in 2019, 7 appearances in 2020, 14 appearances in 2021, and his ERA went from 5.5 to 3.03.
Are those appearances or are those decisions?
Correct. Thank you. Those are decisions.
Okay.
Not appearances.
Okay.
Yeah, those are. So there were 8 games total in 2019, 13 in 2020, 27 in 2021.
Okay.
Still illustrates the same point, just the wrong category. the wrong column. Thanks, baseball reference and Brad. I'm talking about Logan Webb. He's a right-handed pitcher, plays for the Giants.
Is he going to be 25 this season?
Yeah, he'll be 25 this season.
Okay, because I was looking at him and I think I did my math wrong on when he's going to be 25. But no, yeah, because he's solid too. He's a great pitcher.
Yeah, he's going to be good for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is. Yeah, and like I said, because I was looking at him and I was like, oh shoot, he's like already 25, but he is 25, and this is a 25-year-old season. So
correct,
solid pick, Brig. I absolutely 100 agree with you. Yeah,
but I think that's killer. That 5.5 ERA all the way to 3.03 in one season, one turnaround, and he had 13 game appearances, and then to 27, and it went down like that. To me, that was astounding.
Yep, he just needed to get into a rhythm because 8 games is not enough to get into a groove in a big league clubhouse. 13 games is not enough time to get into a rhythm as a big league pitcher. 27, I think we're seeing who he really is there.
I think so.
So that's a solid pick. I like that.
Man.
Okay, let's. I'll do one more right here, and then you.
I have 3 more.
Okay. This guy is going to be a problem for batters, especially in the American League West, for a very long time. He was a major problem this year for batters, and like I said, it's going to continue that way. He had a 3.48 ERA this year in 30 appearances, 11-8 record. Pitched 155 innings. One of my favorite stats is strikeout to walk ratio was 3.34. That is a little over 3.25 strikeouts for every single walk. That's the kind of guy I want in my rotation. He also finished 2nd in Rookie of the Year voting. This is Luis Garcia with the Houston Astros.
Super solid pick, bro.
Dude, he's scary. He
I
is
know.
frightening. For a fan of another American League West team, like I do not like this guy
No
at
doubt.
all. That anytime you see that he's in the rotation coming up in the series, you're like, well, just chalk that up to a big fat L.
Yep.
Because nothing's happening there. So and I don't feel like that. Like this year, his record, and I really don't hold much water with pitchers' records. He had an 11-8 record. That
Yeah.
certainly is
No,
not on him, which is weird that the Astros would have lost that many games with him pitching. But I think there may have been some growing pains a little bit there this year. But he certainly came into his groove and was the guy towards the end of the season.
And we saw him in 30 games.
Yes.
30 games with a 3.5 ERA. It's pretty dang good.
It is pretty dang good. So,
Very
yeah,
cool.
he's going to be a problem for a long time. Not looking forward to it.
Man, we haven't overlapped once yet.
Not yet. I think we're going to eventually.
Probably.
I don't know. We'll see. All right, who you got next?
Hey, let me pull him up. We got a guy who's a pitcher. He'll actually be his 24-year season, 2022. It'll be his age 24 season. In 2020, he appeared in 6 games, and that's for obvious reasons. In 2021, there were 24 appearances, 24 games. He had in that season an ERA of 3.5, 3.58 specifically. His career ERA is down to 3.25, which is awesome. Positive career WAR 3.9. Nobody cares about win-loss record. And Rookie of the Year voting, number 7. And last year, he was also in the Rookie of the Year voting, came in number 5. He pitches in Atlanta. It's Ian Anderson.
That's another good one.
Thank you.
I mean, there's a reason that the Braves. So there's a reason the Braves have a strong rotation. These guys are like a huge part of it. I was gonna pick Ian Anderson, but I didn't want to pick 2 Braves.
That's why I didn't go with Soroka.
Is that our overlap?
No. Maybe.
It might be as close as we get.
It might be the way it's going.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Ian Anderson. I think he's going to be really spectacular for a long time. I don't know that he'll be in Atlanta for the rest of his career. I think that would be really hard to pull off. But he's going to be great. And I can see him playing at 4 or 5 clubs, actually. Just partly because that's what pitchers do, but also partly because I think a lot of people are going to have different situations come the new CBA. So
I agree.
A lot of these
you're
guys.
Right. But they have him. He's not a free agent until 2027. So he's got a while still.
Yeah, he does.
That they can enjoy him on that staff for a good long while still. That'll be good for them. I would honestly, and this is the other thing. This is the reason I picked Soroka over him, is because you get a bigger sample size with him at 24 games compared to 6 during the COVID season.
Sure.
That his ERA is almost double with 24 games. Like I said, I understand the larger sample size, but sometimes you get to see a little bit more of who a guy is with a larger sample size. One of the things the Mariners saw with Yusei Kikuchi this last year was that he was outstanding in the first half of the season. He was an all-star because they had a 6-man rotation. But once they went back down to that 5-man rotation, he ended up getting pulled from his last start because they didn't trust him.
Yeah.
I'd be curious. Like, I would want to look a little bit deeper at Ian Anderson's splits to see how he did later in the season, to see if he's one of those guys who kind of ran out of gas or if he finished really strong.
Well, so his 2021 playoff numbers are 3.86 and 2.57 is 2020 playoff numbers. So
yeah,
I don't know. He's been in 2 NLCSs with a 3.21 ERA between the both of them.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, just more like August, September is what I would want to see specifically.
Yeah,
but
I agree with you. I think that's exactly right.
So let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we get back, I have 3 guys to talk about. Brig still has 2. We'll get into those in just a minute.
The None Other Sports Podcast is the home of sports talk for everyone. Every other week, you can catch David and Jason as they talk about all things sports, from current events to classic moments and everything in between. You can find the Nonlinear Sports Podcast on Anchor.fm, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, and more. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review.
Welcome back, baseball family. Brad doesn't think we're going to overlap today, and I just thought I should let you know that would be a first in the history of this thing we've been doing.
Yeah, it would be.
I'm very eager to find out if he's right or wrong. So, Brad, why don't you go ahead and tell us the next player that you've got on your list of pitchers under 25?
Okay, this guy. This is going to be his year 24, or age 23 season. Okay, he did
Age
miss
23?
age 23. He did miss all of 2021 with a shoulder injury, which a little bit of a red flag. I understand that, right? But he made his debut really young at age 22 back in the COVID season. He plays for the Marlins. This is Sixto Sanchez.
Yeah.
If you've watched him pitch, like, first off, during the COVID season, 3.46 ERA in 7 games. I give guys who pitch for teams like the Marlins a little bit of a pass with some of their stats, just because, like, I understand that errors are not going to contribute to your earned run average because they're not earned runs, right? Anyway,
Correct.
I give guys like the pitch for those teams a little bit of a pass. He finished 7th in Rookie of the Year voting. His strikeout to walk ratio was a flat 3.00 in 2020, and I'll take that absolutely 100%. The 1.025 whip, I like it, but he's one of those guys that's just like electric to watch pitch. There's certain guys you can see and you can feel their energy through the TV. They're like, yeah, it feels different in the ballpark when they're pitching, and Sixto Sanchez to me is one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm talking about, Brig? Like the buzz when somebody else is pitching?
Uh-huh. No, I know what you're saying. I don't know that I agree with you with Sixto.
That's how I feel when I watched him pitch in 2020, is that he seemed like a guy who there was a little bit something different going on when he was on the mound. I don't know if he's going to be able to maintain it, though, because a shoulder surgery is a big deal.
Yeah.
It
really is. It's not just Tommy John.
Right.
And do we know what kind of shoulder surgery it was? Because that'll play a huge part.
It didn't. The articles I read didn't say specifically. Like, it didn't say specifically like a rotator cuff or anything. It just said a shoulder surgery from what I saw. So
yeah, he worries me. I went through him a little bit to figure out whether I could justify picking him, and I can't. I do like how young he is. I think that's nice. You know, here we are talking about a couple of years difference, but still. Like, I don't have enough out of him personally.
Yeah. Well, and he was a guy Derek Jeter liked a lot. And for me, that's like kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it's not a small deal.
That Derek Jeter stepped away because of a philosophical difference with the team. And Sixto Sanchez was a guy that he backed.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm saying
it's a lot of upside is what I'd be banking off with him, is a lot of upside and energy, obviously. But
sure.
But yeah. So that's my next pick. Sixto Sanchez.
All right.
Who you got, Brig?
All right, for my next one, guy was selected actually by the LA Dodgers in the 3rd round of 2016 amateur draft. He's going to be 24 in 2022. It's his age 24 season. Right-handed pitcher. He's from Texas. And we've got a career WAR 1.8 from him. His career ERA is 2.93. His 2021 ERA was 2.74. And that was only 5 games in 2021. That's my only concern with him. We got 23 innings of work out of him in 2021. But I still really like what I'm seeing out of Dustin May.
Oh, yeah. I love Dustin May.
Yeah, I like Dustin May a lot.
Mhm.
Out of the 3 years he's been in the bigs, his 2021 whip was 0.957. We've got a 3-year average of 1.065 and 8.8 strikeout over 9. And that's
So,
awesome.
I'll tell you, Brig, I didn't think you were going to pick Dustin May.
Rookie of the year, number 5.
That's our overlap.
Did you? Yeah. Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I am a huge Dustin May fan, partially because he looks a lot like my brother-in-law at that age, which is really funny to me. But no, I love, like, Dustin May for me was appointment viewing in 2020.
Yep.
Like if he was pitching, I was turning on a Dodgers game.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did have to have Tommy John last year, so that's going to be something. I think it's going to cut into his velocity a little bit because he's a 100 plus guy.
Yeah,
or was. But
no,
we
have postseason appearances from him as well. We know what he looks like under pressure. So I'm just saying, like, unless Tommy John really throws him for a loop, he was in the playoffs in 2019, 2020, and obviously missed the 2021 campaign. But I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. He's so young and he gasses people. I just am excited to see what he can do, and I'm just not as worried about Tommy John like I am specifically shoulder surgery, but yeah, it's just different. But anyway, yeah, Dustin May, love that guy.
Yeah, me too. Solid pick. I love it so much. I was super bummed when he had to have Tommy John surgery, but I was like, it's better to have it at 23 than it is to have it at 33. So he's got that going for him.
That's right.
But man, he is a violent pitcher, though. I'm not surprised he had to have it. Like,
totally.
He puts every little bit of his body into every single pitch, and it's exciting to watch. And he's going to be somebody who's fun to watch for a long time. So that was our overlap. That was our.
Yeah, he's a great example of what you were talking about. That kind of like on the field energy and presence that you were talking about with Sixto. Like you can see it with Dustin May too. Yeah.
Yep. You can. Yep. I think it helps that he's 6'6". He's like a freaking beanpole. He's so tall.
And he's only 180 pounds at 6'6".
I know.
I don't know where he gets it, but it's there.
Dude, and that might be the other reason he had to have Tommy John. Is like he probably throws it kind of like Randy Johnson, kind of like the whip motion.
Yeah,
it might be what did it, but yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to him getting back though because he's a fun pitcher to watch. I like him a lot.
All right, who's next on your list?
Okay, this is my last one since we overlapped.
Oh man, are we gonna overlap again?
I don't think so. I doubt it.
Okay.
Honestly, you have one more, right?
I have one more. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is somebody who made their major league debut last year in 2021. He made his debut at age 24 and sorry, that's his current age is 24 and 306 days. He made his debut at age 24 and 8 days. So this will be his age 25 season this year. He had a 4.68 ERA, but a lot of that came in those first few starts when he was starting to kind of get his groove and feel where he belonged in the big leagues. If you look at his splits with win-losses with his team went on like a 12-game winning streak when he pitched. Like he didn't get all those decisions, but when he was pitching, they were winning. And this is Logan Gilbert with the Mariners.
Yeah, it's not an overlap, but that's awesome.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
So another 6'6" guy, a really, really tall, but he's got an outstanding fastball. He's got an amazing slider. I love watching this guy pitch too. Like I said, he took a little bit of time to settle in. He gave up 8.4 hits per 9, 1.3 home runs per 9, but a 4.57 strikeout to walk ratio.
Ooh.
Yeah. Those are my knuckles popping for everyone listening because that is outstanding.
Yeah, it is.
But no, 2.1 walks per 9. Once Gilbert settled in after those first few starts, that you knew he was going to come out. He was going to let the Mariners take a lead, even if it was 2-3 runs, whatever. and it was going to be outstanding. This kid is going to anchor this staff. I mean, you got Robbie Ray, right, is the ace, but Logan Gilbert is going to be the 2, potentially the 3 when George Kirby comes up. But I wouldn't be surprised if he stuck around the 2 just because he's got the time under his belt and he is that good that he's going to be one of the guys who the Mariners ride to potentially winning the division, going to the playoffs, and winning a World Series in 2023.
Yeah. Solid.
Thanks. Big Logan Gilbert
happening
fan,
in 2023. What?
It is, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's happening in 2023. No, I was just saying, in case you didn't notice, I'm a big Logan Gilbert fan. So
I can tell. I think it's awesome. Yeah.
All right. Who's your last one here, Brig?
Yes,
we do.
We do. This guy's from Culiacan, Mexico. This will be his age 25 season. He actually made his debut in 2016. And he was 19 years old when he made his debut. He pitched 18 games that season, which I think is awesome. And his ERA over those 18 games was 3.39. At 19 years old, Brad.
Yeah. Yeah, this is another great pitcher for the Dodgers.
It is. And he was in Cy Young running last year. He came in 7th, but he's in the Cy Young last year. He last year. So first of all, let me say this is Julio Urias, for those of you that haven't figured it out yet. And he missed almost all but 5 games 2017, all but 3 games in 2018. He had shoulder surgery. And that's why we were talking about shoulder surgery earlier. And I wanted to kind of feel it out. Then he came back in 2019 after shoulder surgery and posted a 2.49 ERA over 37 games. Then in 2020, he had 11 games, 3.27 ERA. Again, that's that rotation issue we were talking about, kind of settling in. 2021, he comes in 32 games, 2.96 ERA. Come on. That puts his 6-year ERA, career ERA at 3.09. The dude started when he was 19 years old. This guy is insanity. I love watching him pitch. It's terrifying and exciting all at the same time. He's a lefty at that, which makes it even better. So this dude is literally a golden goose.
He is, and you know what's so I wonder if they're going to do this with Sixto Sanchez. If they're going to do the same thing that the Dodgers did with Urias, is that he came out of the bullpen for much of 2019, his first year back.
Yep.
That he appeared in 37 games, but only started 8 of those.
Right.
So I wonder if
whereas in 2021 he started 32 of his 32 appearances.
Exactly, he started 11 of his, started 10 of his 11 appearances in 2020. So that could be the way to do it. And I think that's part of the reason that he was able to have so much success in 2020 and especially in 2021 is that he was kind of eased back into things before he was really ramped up into that starter role. And he's a problem. He's a problem for the NL West big time.
And I just wonder if Miami is managed well enough to do that. You know, to because with Dave Anderson, he really takes care of his players. He really is involved in the game. And it's stupid to say that about a manager, but I mean, he just is so keyed in and he knows baseball so well. And I'm not saying that Donnie Baseball doesn't. That would be crime against baseball. But I just wonder if the organization as a whole is looking to take as good a care of their players in Miami as they are in LA. That's
right.
all.
Yeah. Right. Dave Roberts, by the way.
Sorry, Dave Roberts.
Whatever.
No, Dave Roberts.
I agree with you though that Donnie Baseball knows baseball, right? There's a reason they call him Donnie Baseball. But at the same time, there are reasons, I guess, why he was let go in LA. Yeah. You know, he wasn't able to get over the hump as a manager. And, Roberts has had his struggles as well. Part of that was because they ran into a team that was stealing their signs illegally.
Did.
Twice. But at the same time, if it's up to Don Mattingly, he's going to take care of Sixto Sanchez. If it's not, they're going to have problems because the Dodgers did it right. The Dodgers do a lot of things right, which is why they win so many games.
Well,
Right.
and now that Derek Jeter has stepped away in Miami because of philosophical differences, you got to worry at least a little bit about stuff like player management, player development.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right, Brig. And Brig, when you're right, you're right. That's all you can
Thanks.
do, right?
Thanks, man.
But that's all I have with our overlap. That we've gone through my last player and Logan Gilbert. But baseball family, let us know who you think are the best pitchers under the age of 25, going into their age 25 year season. That did not make any sense. Age 25 season. That's what I'm trying to say. It's getting late. Drop us an email in the mailbag. There's a link down in our link tree in the bottom of the description there. You can also support us in Patreon there with our link in link tree as well.
Don't forget to jump on the shop at 9plusus.com. That's NINEPLUSUS.com. 9plusus.com, where you can get all the swag we be wearing. I got my 42 shirt on today. This is probably one of our most sought after shirts. People love this one, man. It's not just the most popular. It's like the one people wear the most, I guess. Because people call me all the time, text me. They're like, dude, this is the best shirt ever. I'm like, thanks, man. So that's really cool. Brad's got his United We fan hat on. I'm wearing my Yagyu hat. Brad's also wearing his Dia del Mago Copa hat that we got there. And it's on the undersides of his rally caps. And anyway, jump on there. We're making a few changes. And you can keep up with those or make sure that you don't, because it's seamless, and that's what it should be.
Exactly. And don't forget to stop at baseballtogether.com. You can read about you can read about baseball, you can watch podcasts, listen to the podcast, everything. Like I said, drop us an email in the mailbag. There's a link in the navigation there for you. And baseball family, don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review. Let us know how we're doing, some things that you might want to hear from us that we have not done so far. Is there somebody you'd like to see on the podcast with us? Let us know what you think. Let us know who, and we'll do the best we can to get them. But baseball family, thank you again for joining us, and we will catch you next week.